Hey, it's James, Father's Rights and Resources, hashtag HowiGotCustody. I want to talk about why you probably need a one-on-one consultation with me. This may sound like a sales pitch, but it's just reality and the facts. If you haven't had a one-on-one consultation, now it's possible to go through my free videos, do your own research and digging, and do just fine in this battle and be able to kick butt in court. It's possible, but it's very unlikely that that will happen, because for you to do this stuff totally on your own, starting from scratch, it takes hours and hours and days and weeks and months to really get this stuff down. Whereas talking to me one-on-one can cut straight to the chase of your situation, the things that I would have done in that situation or that I did in that situation. I mean, think about it. If you talk to me for an hour, instead of spending months looking for the answer that I have off the top of my head, wouldn't that be worth it to you? I have a lot of people who want quickie answers and quickie questions, which that just can't happen. There's no way that you're in a war and you're asking for training to prepare for the war in one sentence or in a paragraph. That's impossible. Even if you have a lawyer that you supposedly trust, for you to light a fire under their butt and keep them on the offensive and things like that, a lot of times if I give somebody an answer, like this is what I would do in that situation, and then they go and do that, like you DM me, say you DM me and say, what do I do with this? I say, oh, well, I would answer this way. And then your attorney, you're trying to light a fire under their butt. Or say you asked a question about something with court, and you got a reaction from what I said or the information I shared with you. You got a reaction that you weren't prepared for. Well, that's because you only got like one quickie answer. You can't go into a war. That's like, like if you're a football player, you're like, okay, how do we run this one play? Does any football team run the same play an entire football game? You're asking me for one play, and then you're going to go into an entire game, which is maybe considered a court hearing. You could consider, analogy could be the entire series the entire football season of 16 weeks in the NFL is your war with your baby's mom, your baby's dad, your ex, or whatever. You can't just know one play for the entire season. So at the very least, I had several consultations when I started off with two different father's rights guys. One guy totally screwed up my paperwork. I paid him $600, which is 10 times as much as it would cost me or cost you to spend an hour with me. Think about it. 3 $20 bills to strategize and help you possibly win and learn how to fight for your kid. The stuff I talk about is invaluable. And I get a lot of messages. People ask me, I'm from this state, I'm from Utah, I'm from Michigan. Do you know the Michigan laws did by heart? It doesn't matter what state it's in. I talk the warfare tactics of dealing with court and the prejudice and the system. All those technicalities of the rules in your state. In your state, you might have to give somebody 6 court days notice before a hearing. In my state, it might be 2 weeks. So what? That technicality, if you don't want to talk to me because you're hung up on that technicality, and I have trophies of winning in court over and over again, in the Court of Appeals and Superior Court and the Supreme Court of the state of Washington. It's about the warfare and the strategies. It isn't about the technicality of your court. Your court is no different than the court out here, except the rules of filing and certain technicalities, which if you don't know where to go find those rules, most of the time I'm Googling stuff while I'm talking to a client on the phone, and I find them for them. Okay? So it doesn't matter what state you're in. And if You're trying to get little trinkets here and little trinkets there. Most of my videos that are 10 minutes long they're just 10 minutes long. Talking to me for an hour, right there, that's 6 times more information. And I'm talking generally with things that happen in certain situations. If you talk to me directly, we can find out exactly what's going on in your case and exactly what you might need to do in your situation. I guarantee, 100% of people that I've talked to, maybe I'll give an exception, like 2 or 3 people I've ever talked to, knew everything that I was talking about already or knew some concept of it, but I always added something they never heard before. I'm constantly dealing with people and talking to people that they tell me, you told me more in 1 hour than my attorney told me in 1 or 2 years of representation or months. So if you want to go spend $300 an hour on an attorney who's probably going to screw you over, and then all you want is a quickie free DM from me, then you're not really looking for answers. Like, this may sound like a sales pitch, but if you don't want to talk to me, I don't want you to talk to me because you don't really want to fight and you don't care. A lot of people, they have their apprehensions and doubts about this. So that's the people that I'm speaking to. Okay. But as far as the people who are trying to get some free information when they're spending $300 an hour on an attorney and they want to talk to me for hours in a DM or what takes hours to talk, instead of just paying for a consultation with me, to be honest with you, that's kind of disrespectful of my time. You'll pay an attorney $300 to sell you out, and you keep coming back to me, and you know that I know the answers, but you want to extract them from me for free and take my free time as if I got all the time in the world just to sit around and cater to your case. When you're paying thousands of dollars for an attorney who's going to lose. And a lot of people who do that, they come around after their trial, they message me, and then they want to consult with me after they're totally screwed. And I could have helped them ahead of time during their case, but they didn't want to pay a few bucks to get real answers. Now, I'll just be straight up. Every single one of you out there who's in a family court case, you need to talk to me. I know not all of you will. I know some of you may have your apprehensions. I know some of you, there's some of you, if you did talk to me, you wouldn't apply the stuff because you got to be willing to fight and be aggressive. So I don't want to talk to the people who really don't want to talk to me. I'm talking to the people who are straddling on the fence and who really want to fight, but they just don't trust anybody because their lawyers screwed them over or whatever. They think I could be the next hustler or con, and I understand that. And I always tell people, don't believe anything I say just because I say it. When I cite a law or a rule, go look it up yourself. When I cite case law, go look it up yourself. But obviously, I'm not a hustler and a con, and I'm on the side of parents because I am one. Think about it. Has your attorney been through a divorce and been fighting for their rights and got screwed over and need equality and stuff like that and think the system is corrupt? No. Your attorney can't feel your pain and doesn't know what you're going through. In fact, they dismiss what you say all the time. Oh, you'll never get 50-50, so let's not even try. That kind of stupid stuff. So, you'll need a consult with me. But on top of that, I got overwhelming proof that I know what I'm talking about, because if you look at my bio on Instagram, and then in my main video on YouTube below, there's a link to my win in the Court of Appeals. That alone, in and of itself, shows you that I know what I'm talking about. Because the vast majority of attorneys don't even do appeals. They don't even like, I talked to an attorney one time I was interviewing for a job. And I told him how I did in the Court of Appeals. He goes, man, I hate the Court of Appeals. I went there once and I totally got screwed and I'll never go there again. I won in the Court of Appeals against a 50-year veteran attorney and got the #1 judge in Seattle reversed. He's the lead judge. He's the presiding judge in King County, which is the biggest county in the entire 1/4 northwest corner of the United States. I defeated them myself, so I know what I'm talking about. So there's proof. So you don't have to believe what I say just because I say it, but I got proof. And it's there for you to look at and review yourself. But on top of that, you need some streamlining. Instead of you spending hours or months or years working on your case, you need some answers quickly. That's what a consult will do for you. And you don't want to regret it later when it's too late and it's too hard to overcome the screwed court order that you got.